When I listen to you, I can't help to think it's still the developers who stand to benefit with KPKT.
I don't like this negative perception. We are here to build positive perception.
Okay, because
Breakfast Grille, breakfast is a good time. We have to start a new day with
yes,
a new
of course,
start.
but
with
it
a
doesn't
bright
stop
start.
me from asking the difficult questions. I'm Wong Xiaoning and this is The Breakfast Grille. UN Habitat states that adequate housing is actually a human right. Yet in Malaysia, we may still be failing to meet this important requirement. An irony that should not be lost since our country will be assuming the presidency of this United Nations agency from 2025 to 2029. We speak to the Minister of Housing and Local Government, Kor Ming, on why Malaysia deserves this post and also if claims that his ministry is too pro-developer are true. He is also, of course, MP for Teluk Intan and Deputy National Chairman of DAP. Thank you for coming on our show. You were here last in September where there was an in-depth discussion on the role and responsibilities of the Ministry of Housing and Local Government. So this time I just want to spend some time on the recent developments. So first off, congratulations. Okay, It's the first time since an ASEAN country has won this accolade of heading this UN agency. But why do we want this post and what's to be gained from it?
All right. Good morning, Malaysia. Salam Malaysia Madani. UN Habitat was established since 1975. This year, it will celebrate its Golden Jubilee. So Malaysia comes in the right time to win the presidency. This is not only the success of the ministry, but in fact, it should be celebrated by all Malaysians as a national achievement. Okay, Malaysia was not given the prominent role since many decades ago. The first Malaysian who headed a world body is Dato Sri Anwar Ibrahim when he was UNESCO president in 1989. The second Malaysian who achieved that was Tan Sri Razari Ibrahim, who was the UN General Assembly president. And this is the third time after 3 decades.
But why do we want this? I mean,
UN Habitat is the world body, which is the supervisory body regarding the urbanization, housing, and also planning of the cities. Looking at the rapid urbanization of what is going on in the world, 60% of world population now stay in the cities. And when you look at the domestic front, 78% of Malaysia population are now residing in the cities. By 2040, 85% of Malaysian population is going to stay in the cities. Therefore, not only Malaysia government now, not only that we want to build livable cities, we also want to build lovable cities.
I agree with all that, but what do we bring to the table when we still have somewhere to go in terms of housing reform? I mean, I'm not saying that we are not done well, but we could certainly do much better in terms of creating this livable and lovable city.
Definitely.
Right?
When you look at that front, you have to actually judge us by the global benchmark. Malaysia, in the past, we have now achieved 43% of the sustainable development goals compared to the 17% of the average global percentage, which means that Malaysia now is one of the leading force in achieving SDG, especially the SDG goals 11, which is a safe, resilient, inclusive, and sustainable city development. So sustainable development is one of the national agenda because just like this year, the main theme of our ASEAN chairmanship is sustainability and inclusivity. So we want to build a city which is inclusive. We do not want what happened like what's described by Charles Dickens, A Tales of Two Cities.
Yeah.
One part of the city is for the rich and powerful. Another part of the city is the poor and powerless. We want to make sure that our cities are not only livable, we also want it to be lovable and inclusive.
How far are we from reaching that goal that you just talked about?
Of course, that it is an ongoing process, and then we will take a whole nation approach. Okay, so of course, if you just rely on the government per se, it doesn't work. That's the reason why we have come up with the new policies. We want everyone to come on board, sharing the same mission and the vision. So we are promoting a 4Ps principle, which is public, private, people's partnership.
Okay.
We want everyone to come in because we believe in the team spirit, because English team, TEAM, means together, everyone achieve more.
Okay, lots of acronyms this morning. I will come to some of the reform that we've talked about, but I do want to know whether having this presidency is going to be a distraction for you because you have a very, very full in trade already, right?
Definitely, actually, it's not a distraction, but it's an honor and a prestigious recognition to Malaysia. Malaysia being a developing countries, but we are also progressing fast. Okay, World Bank has classified us as an upper middle income country. By 2028, World Bank actually projected Malaysia will be a high income nation. Therefore, Malaysia is now perceived as one of the role model among all the developing countries.
So this is more than just having some diplomatic
It's definitely
prestige.
not, because you see, in the past we only shape, but we only crafted our policies on the domestic front. Being the president of UN Habitat, it gives us an opportunity to shape the world urbanization policy. For example, there are international guidelines, on adequate housing, adequate and affordable housing. And Malaysia being the president, of course, then we will have the opportunity to influence the global agenda.
But if you look at KL, do you think we have achieved that?
Let me actually...
You know what I mean? Because we very rarely feature on, let's say, the top 20, 30 livable city
Of course,
list.
that is a way long journey. But however, credit card, this MasterCard has actually come out with the latest survey. KL is now the top 10 most popular city in the world in terms of the arrival of the international tourists. KL has also been ranked 73 smartest city in the world. These are all the progress, and also that's why the reason why we want to stand for UN Habitat presidency. Not only we elevate our global standing, but at the same time we prove to the world this is the real Malaysia Boleh spirit. Okay, that's why impossible, we have to make it and change it into I am possible.
Okay, another acronym. Now, if I could shift the conversation to a policy, which is the Urban Renewal Act. I mean, it's been in the limelight a lot this year. And just for the context, the proposed law will allow for the redevelopment of land without the consent of 100% of its owners. And I think it's a very contentious bill so far from what I've read, with opposition from politicians, NGOs, and even some existing property owners. From your perspective, the reason why you're pushing this, is it because it's a silver bullet for urban regeneration and renewal? Okay,
let me make it very clear. Urban renewal is a global agenda. Urban renewal guideline has existed since 2013. So this is nothing new. All right. The most important thing is in the past, the previous leader doesn't have the political will, to actually implement urban renewal bill. Let's make it very clear. Our country is going to celebrate our 70th birthday, 70th Independence Day on 2027. So in other words, it actually means that there are many aging buildings around our cities.
For sure.
We do not want our cities to deteriorate and become slums. We want to build livable and livable cities. The government, Madani government, means well, we want to take care of everyone
so
that no one and no place is left behind.
Okay, so the spirit of the law.
The spirit of the law is people-oriented.
Yeah.
Let me make it very clear. First, the status of the land will not be changed. If it is 99 years old leasehold, it remains. If it's freehold, remains. If it's Malay reserve land, it remains. Number two, your compensation, you will not get anything which is less favorable than what you are getting now. We have many success stories. Razak mentioned Kampung Kerinci. In the past, the house was valued at 70,000. After urban renewal, it is now valued at 450,000. In the past, the size of the house was 400 square feet. Now it's 800 square feet.
So
in terms of size, in terms of values, actually to put it in a nutshell, we want to enrich our people.
Okay.
Our concern is to make sure our citizens live in a quality home.
Okay, so let's talk about compensation since you brought it up. And I read the draft bill which states, and I'm going to quote, the Federal Executive Committee or the State Executive Committee shall ensure that the proprietor or occupier who has agreed to participate in the urban renewal project receives an offer of not less favorable than what the proprietor or occupier currently enjoys as prescribed.
Exactly, that's why...
But isn't that rather vague? Because what does it mean?
Okay, it will send to, whatever value, it will not be determined by the ministry. We have the property valuation department, whereby the valuation department will come up with the market value of the property. So the current owner who agree to participate in the urban renewal scheme will receive more than what they are going to receive. So there are success stories, and which we believe this is the way forward. And let me very clear.
Will there be a process?
There definitely will be a very transparent process. And urban renewal doesn't mean it is only urban redevelopment. Okay, first it will start with urban rejuvenation. After that, urban regeneration. For example, I'll give you the example. Urban rejuvenation. You look at Rex Cinema KL. This is the success story of urban rejuvenation. In the past, it is an old cinema, and nobody actually looked at it.
It was a car park for many years.
It was a car park for many years, and now it is one of the place which is so livable, and so many youngsters went there. So look at the bright side. Okay, and urban renewal is the way forward. And it doesn't happen in Malaysia per se. It has started in many other countries, Australia, Singapore, Hong Kong. They have started since 1990s. Malaysia is actually 30 years behind. And we do not want any incident where the building which is not safe anymore. And we believe Malaysians deserve better.
Okay.
That's the reason why we come up with this bill.
I want to discuss, though, probably the most contentious part of the bill, which is the consent threshold required, right? And there are various thresholds. So for properties under 30 years old, you're talking about 80%, 75% for those over 30 years, and 51% for abandoned buildings. Now,
let me start by saying this. We are actually adopting the highest consent threshold in the world. Okay, I give you the example. In Shanghai, the consent threshold is 66%.
Yes, 2/3,
Tokyo
right?
also 2/3.
2/3.
Okay, Malaysia is 80%. And then we adopt actually the highest. The only one compatible with us is Singapore. 80%, okay, it doesn't mean that, okay, the 20% who disagree will be evicted. No such thing.
So there'll be no evictions?
No eviction. They have to be seen in the committee. That's why the Act has provided you have a mediation committee. The government will step in. Okay, KPKT will step in to be the mediator and find a win-win formula so that everyone deserve what they call a place called home. So that is the government means well, and we are determined to ensure that what they are getting is better than what they have today.
But there are still concerns that this URA is going to create a situation whereby there might be a land grab by developers, right?
Let me explain.
Okay, because developers, they eye a project, they say, dilapidated housing development, I'm going to turn it into $1 billion project and reap the bulks of the profits, and in turn, they might hollow out the soul of an area in pursuit of gentrification. Let me start by saying that,
number one, the current law stipulated that you need a 100% threshold. So what happened now? Okay, I give you the example. At Jalan Tun Razak, they once called the apartment Desa Kuda Lari. Kuda Sudah Lari. Okay, 99% people agree. 1% doesn't agree. Therefore, the entire urban renewal was delayed for 8 long years. How many 8 years you have in life? Right? This is number one. So then, do you think that it is fair to the 99% who has agreed compared to the 1% which actually prevail? Okay, this is number one. Number two, in fact, according to the feedback, and we have conducted 80 engagement sessions with various sectors, including house buyers association and also the REDA. Okay, many REDA's members actually say that they don't like, if given the choice, urban renewal is the last option. Okay, they prefer to buy their own land and develop their own land. That will be much faster and also commercially viable. Why should they engage into all the social discussion and then start all the conversation, townhouse sessions? Okay, because to business model, time is of the essence. Time is actually money because it involves holding cost. There's a reason why. Okay, when we persuade them to come, we want to create a win-win-win formula. Government is happy, the investor is happy, as well as the people.
The owners
is happy. I give you the example. Of course, look at the Kampung Kerinci. Kampung Kerinci, when they first come in, it was actually a very old flat. But now, look at it. They are actually a very modern apartment equipped with modern facilities and with a very, very affordable rate. The developers even come out with the endowment fund to subsidize the maintenance. So therefore, look at the bright side before we judge.
Okay, but when we look at some of these older buildings, I think we cannot run away from the reality that very often they are owned by the vulnerable, not so wealthy, who can't afford the maintenance, elderly with low incomes. So I want to be very clear, whose side is KPKT on, and how are we going to protect this group of people, the most important, the homeowners?
KPKT is people's friendly. We are also investors friendly. That's why as a government, we want to be fair to all. We are striking the balance. Give you the example, Kampung Kerinci. Okay, these are a vulnerable group. That's why, okay, the government step in and then discuss, come up with a win-win formula with the developer. First 2 years, developers subsidize the maintenance. Third year, developers come up with an endowment scheme to some of the properties being rented out and use the renter to subsidize the maintenance for the existing owner. Most important, the people's welfare is always very dear to our heart. There is no compromise on that matter. Okay, this is the government by the people, for the people, and from the people. Madani means that we are compassionate about people's welfare. That is for sure.
I do want to continue on URA. And you're right, it is maybe a solution towards regeneration, re-urbanization, all those words.
Let me make it very clear. Yes.
I do want to say something though. When it comes to aging buildings, poor living conditions, that's the reality of some of the buildings in KL. But as long as we don't have a maintenance culture and we build something new, will that shiny new building remain shiny for long?
That's why we are preparing to come up with a new bill. Okay, there's a property management bill. One of the root causes of urban decay is a poor management of building. And the current legal framework doesn't allow us to expand the base. Okay, Malaysia now, the current capacity is not enough. We have about 2.9 million strata titles. Okay, nearly 27,000 housing schemes are all strata titles. But at the same time, each management company actually manage more than 5,000 units, which is extremely low, inequitable.
Yeah,
and then there's a reason why many are actually poorly maintained.
Yeah.
So when it comes to maintenance, you definitely need a new set of law to actually move the agenda to ensure that sustainability doesn't mean just to build new building, but maintenance, especially maintenance culture, is one of the core. I give you the example. KPKT has recently come up with a new model called PRR. In the future, whoever stay in this public housing will be given access card, and then they will be charged with a very, very low maintenance. For instance, 130 ringgit per month.
But sometimes people just don't pay.
If they don't pay, means that that's the reason why. We have conducted a pilot project in Johor. We profiled 19,000 residents. Before the new policies, 45% people pay out. Now, after we implement the new access card policies, 90% people pay out. You know why? If you don't pay, you will be denied access. You won't be able to go home. Why we need to do that? Okay, because we have to ensure that it is fair to all. Law-abiding citizens shall be rewarded. Okay, those who recalcitrant, okay, they have to also pay a price. This country, we need responsible citizens as well, so that everyone play their part, and it will be fair and equitable to all.
Okay, and coming back to fair and equitable, when you look at the URA, right, that 20 pages, that's the draft bill I'm looking at. Now, the administration of the bill, my thing is, it consists almost entirely of the government, right? This, whether it's yourself, the members of the State Executive Council, to the Chief Secretary, and there's a vague line in terms of who's in that council or the executive, two other members who have knowledge and experience in the state. Does this sound like a fair balance in terms of the implementation of the URA?
Without the URA bill, now it is actually the developers against the residents. Government comes in to be the mediator. And then being the policy makers, when you have this mediation committee, our role is to ensure that interests of all parties are well safeguarded and protected.
Okay, so we've got government, but who else?
We also got the expert, which is independent. So that the independent panel, when they come in, they will also give a professional opinion. And we stand guided, the committee stand guided by the independent panel's opinion. There's a reason why when this act come in, so it will be a more structured, organized and fairer way. The developer will not have upper hand just to go against the people, because the government will step up to protect and safeguard the public interest.
This is provided we have faith in the government doing the right thing all the
Madani
time.
government is here.
Okay, let's talk about home ownership then. There are a plethora of initiatives on this front, from having allocated $2.25 billion to build affordable housing under the 12 Malaysia plan. We've got Prima One, My Home. Is the government's target 100% home ownership for all Malaysians? Is that KPKT's goal?
Basically, of course, I'm pleased to share with all the readers. After so many years, finally, so far, our Malaysians' home ownership has achieved 77%. In other words, 77% of Malaysian family actually own a home. Okay, property is not only a house.
Yeah.
Okay, I always say that home is not built by bricks and bits. House is built with hope and dreams. Okay.
Yes,
House
I agree.
Is built with,
Yes.
hopes and dreams. And investment in properties is not only against the inflation. It is also a wealth creation, a wealth preservation.
Sometimes, although you can
Sometimes,
have
yes.
the consequence of negative equity, which does happen.
Of course, this is not a perfect world. Nobody believe in perfectionism, but we are doing our best.
So, but you'd still believe Malaysians should own homes, 100% of us, ideally.
It is up to the people. Okay, it is it's a freedom of choice. So far, we have about 24% rental market. Means that 24% Malaysian they choose to rent instead of own. They want to have financial freedom. That is their choice. Okay, we believe in laissez-faire economy.
Okay.
People are free to choose. This is freedom. If you choose one to buy 10 houses, that is your choice. If you choose not to buy one, that is also your choice. We respect the choices of the citizens. And of course, being the ministry, our aim is to ensure that everyone at least have a rooftop over their head. And then everyone actually can stay at a place where they call home. They can build their dreams and with hope with their family.
And of course, at an affordable price point, right?
Of
Although
course.
affordable could mean different things for different people. Yeah. But when I listen to you, I can't help to think it's still the developers who stand to benefit for many of the initiatives within KPKT.
I don't like this negative
Okay.
perception. We are here to build positive perception.
Okay, because-
Breakfast Grille, breakfast is a good time. We have to start a new day with
Yes,
a new
of course.
start.
But
with
it
a
doesn't
bright
stop
start.
me from asking the difficult questions, because I know that KPKT has a target to generate 180 billion in property sales across all sectors this year. So why does KPKT have a target like this?
No, you have to ensure that housing in the real estate sector are related to 200 industries. All right, it includes banking, legal, contractor, even the furniture sellers. Okay, if real estate sector collapse, what is going to happen to the people's livelihood? There are millions of people actually livelihood depends on the development of the real estate sector. I am very, very happy to share that Malaysia's real estate sector has recovered fully, and we have a healthy, steady growth in the past 3 years. Okay, and yet we do not have bubble. Okay, not like other countries where the bubble burst. We are strictly monitoring the progress of the properties development. That's why our National Housing Department is also monitoring the progress. In the past 2 years, we see for the first time in decades, we start to see about 10% growth on an annual basis, which we believe is healthy. And then that also create a lot of wealth for the people. Do not look at the negative way of looking at it. Last year, we achieved the highest property sales in decades,
Yes.
which is 230 billion. Okay, that is a lot to create values, not for the developers per se, but also for the home buyers. You imagine every time you buy a properties and then buy and sell, right? And then you create wealth for yourself. That who will benefit? The home buyer will also benefit. So we have to start changing and make it that from the investment point of view, looking at the world like what I say that now with the ongoing tariff war. The famous saying is, the only thing certain now is uncertainties. So property investment is one of the investment that actually preserve your wealth. If you got a good location, the right product at the right pricing.
But what is the ministry doing in terms of the sizable stock of unsold residential units in
When
Malaysia?
I first took over, there are about 37,000
Okay. Now
overhang
we've-
property. Now I managed to reduce more than 40%
We're
to
about
about 23,000
yes.
overhang properties, and then it's still ongoing. Of course, this figure is dynamic because at the same time you also have new project launching. Okay, so that is impossible to zero, but so long that it is within control.
Does it factor into your policy when you're considering building affordable housing? And the reason why I'm asking is because the majority of the unsold units are actually priced between 200,000 and 300,000.
This is right. Now you have a right question. It doesn't mean that
It can be sold.
it can be sold.
Yeah.
So we got to actually avoid the myth. Okay, it doesn't mean that cheap people want to buy. People now are looking at. I have always repeatedly say that nowadays the youngster, they not only that they buy a house, they're actually buying a lifestyle. So buying a lifestyle sometimes it doesn't come cheap, but they are pursuing the dream to have a better lifestyle, and they deserve it. Our people deserve a better living quality. So most important thing, the government, KPKT has made up the policy. We have asked all the REDA members, before you start any project, first do a feasibility studies. Second, do a proper market survey. Check what is the right product, what is the right pricing to ensure there's no abandoned project. So we are going to introduce a new measures, and we are aiming at zero abandoned project by 2030. So hopefully, stay tuned. We will make announcements soon.
So yeah, kudos to you because you have revived more than 1,000 abandoned projects, right?
It's a team effort.
Yeah, worth almost 100 billion.
Yes.
But if you look at it in terms of a longer term solution, is it then using the build and then sell model, which is practiced in Australia and UK?
Basically, Malaysia, we have already started this build, sell, and then we given incentive. Only thing is we do not make it mandatory because we listen. We listen to the industry players.
The developers again?
Not only. We listen to all because we do not want the entire industry collapse. The end of the day, who is going to pay for the price? Is it the people? Whoever involved will be paid. We have to be forced to pay the price. That's the reason why we have these 1090 models. Okay, we also have build and sell models. Give you an example. Next to your BFM station, Bandar Utama, they always do build and sell. No issue at all.
Well, the developer has plenty of cash, right?
Okay, different. That's why I say
Different
case basis. You cannot force it. I always say that one size doesn't fit all. Let's be fair.
Now, Kor Ming, at this time, we have to turn to politics. Congratulations on being the deputy chairman of DAP after the recent elections. But the question is, can the party reunite after what was a very visible tussle between two camps? Some would say the new and the old guard.
There's no such camp. There's only one camp. There's a DAP camp. You know what does DAP stand for? In English, DAP stand for Delivered as Promised. And in Bahasa, it's Democratic Adil dan Perpaduan. So there's a reason why, after the party election, we can see that DAP remains solid, strong, and united as one.
So there are no fissures.
Under the Saudara Anthony Luke's leadership, it is obvious. After the election, you can see that the party is doing well, progressing stable. And
growing memberships,
and then for the future direction, we definitely want to expand and we want to be inclusive. There's a reason why DAP is going to celebrate its 60th birthday next year. We was established in 1966. Next year, we are 60 years old. This is a party for all Malaysians. That's why from day one, we are multiracial, we are inclusive, progressive, and then we hope every Malaysian will choose to join the party to build the nation together for a better, progressive Malaysia.
Okay, I hear all that. But there are also some who say, and I asked your colleague Stephen Sim this exact question, what do you say to those who then say DAP today is just MCA 2.0?
Definitely not true. The DAP has much difference. DAP has now been part of the government. We are working with our component parties to ensure the reform is on track. Although it is a long journey, but yet slow.
Some would say the pace
is
slow.
But we have done so many reforms. I'll give you an example. For instance, look at the case of this the constitutional amendment that allowed Malaysian mothers who citizenship with the overseas marriage. This has been done. All right. There are also a couple of these reforms we are also taking place. For example, in Parliament, in the past, people always say that Parliament is succumb to the executive power. But look at what happened now. We managed to amend the Constitution that to allow Parliament to be independent with Parliament Services Act. These are facts. And then we have to make sure that people understand. So reform, just like Rome. Rome is not built overnight. But yet, so long that we never give up, so long that we remain steadfast, I'm sure, even though it's slow, but it's steady. But we do not want to rock the boat. See, we are overzealous when PH 1.0, but yet we have learned from the mistake. We got to make sure that at the same time we want reform. We also got to make sure the country and the political stability is well maintained.
But what about issues that DAP championed prior to being in government? So one, of course, is the recognition of the United Examination Certificate for independent Chinese schools, or even more recently, finding the truth behind the death of Teo Beng Hock after the AG classified it as no further action required. Is it hard for you to face loyal grassroots supporters of the party when there are still broken promises?
Since day one, we have never changed. Our stand is always consistent. For instance, we stand firmly together with Beng Hock's family. The families understand very well what the party has done for them.
But they've also said that the government is not doing enough.
There's a reason why. Yesterday, we have just asked the AGs to explain why he classified as NFA, why he did not adopt the decision by the Court of Appeal to prosecute any parties the culprits who is responsible. So the AGs must respond. This is part of the constitutional duty under Article 1453 of the Federal Constitution. With regards to UEC, our stand is clear. UEC is national asset because it has been recognized by Sarawak government, Selangor government, and the rest. And even more than 1,000 tertiary education worldwide has recognized UEC. They even offered scholarship to UEC students. We will never give up on UEC. And then, of course, we will discuss with our partners to make them understand. I always believe in communication. Any success endeavor, you must make sure that not only that you plan to fail, fail to plan is plan to fail. All right, we got to, and then you must have effective communication with your partners. We must let everybody understand and buy in support. So, for instance, in the past, when we were in Barisan Alternative or Pakatan Rakyat, PAS is show their full support for UEC. But now for political expediency, they have changed their stand. So we still never give up the buy in the support to ensure that what we have to insist to do the right thing. Sometimes it may be tough, but yet, if you never give up.
So you're not giving up on these issues?
Why should we? If you feel that it's something right and beneficial to the country, look at the larger picture. The world is changing. Okay? If there's something good, who is going to lose? By recognizing UEC, nobody is losing.
Okay.
And yet, you make sure that you avoid and reduce our brain drain. Never forget, more than 1.8 million Malaysians has left our nation. And if they all can come back to our nation building, how good it can be for the nation.
You're also not known for mincing your words with opposition members or even issues. I mean, even Kari Jamaluddin describes you as sometimes politically tone deaf. And I'm just curious, how do you balance between speaking your mind and being true to all the fundamentals, the DNA of DAP, which we just talked about, and being in government today?
We agree to disagree, okay? And then it's important. I always believe honesty is the best policy. People may not agree with you at one time, but eventually, if you mean well, you are sincere, you are committed, people will finally understand. Actually, you are a good man. So I'm doing whatever is good for the nation. Okay? And then I will try to be honest. Of course, and in a more tactful manner, and then we'll ensure that people will actually agree with what we are doing now. It's not easy. It's an ongoing process, and then it takes a lot of persuasive skill to actually to convince and persuade those who disagree with you. But that's what we are doing here.
So does it ever get frustrating for you personally, and even for the party DAP, to always be the punching bag for so many issues? For example, URA and local elections is being politicized and cast as threats to Malay interests. Does this frustrate the party that it just cannot transcend to being seen as a multiracial party versus just a Chinese one or one that works for the good of the country?
Look at who is our national chairman now. He's a Punjabi, Kor Ming. So it's again another manifestation. DAP is a party for all, and it's a multiracial, and then we are inclusive, and then we embrace all races. Our national vice chairman is Sarihan Johan, okay, the son of the UMNO stalwart. Okay, but yet, okay, we can build and work together as a team. That's important. DAP now is perceived as a beacon of hope, and then we must continue to let the flame of hope continue to burn. And then we believe we have to dream big because Malaysia has a great potential to be a great country.
Are you dreaming big for GE16? Are you still going to be working with your existing partners in PH, which may even include OFOs like UMNO?
We are already in the government. This is a fact no one can deny. We have been working together in the past 3 years. And yet we believe every parties have some good men. And then we choose to work with those who are aligned with the vision to make Malaysia great. Let us focus on nation building and give opportunity to those who are really sincere to build the country. Okay? Rhetorics, politics, or playing with sentiments are something which is definitely counterproductive. I don't believe in politik binasa. I believe in politik membina. Okay, constructive. Let's be constructive, and let's let the result speak for itself.
Finally, am I interviewing the future Secretary General of DAP?
DAP is a party which is unique. We work as a team. We believe
But
in
there's always a
consensus. We believe in consensus. Our leader is Anthony Look.
Yes,
and
who
I work
has
very well
verbally
with
said
him.
that he will retire.
We respect whatever he say.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we will only come to discuss whatever succession plan when it cross the bridge. Okay? Anthony still have 6 years. 6 years is long time in politics. And then we are prepared to throw our full support behind him to ensure, okay, the captain will sail the ship. Okay,
Do you
make
not
it
want to be
unsinkable.
captain at one day?
It is the party decision.
What about personally your own ambitions?
I am a team player, and I abide by the team decision. And we want consensus. Unless there's consensus, okay, that's important so that you buy in support, because collective leadership means collective responsibility. DAP since day one is never a one-man party. This is a party who always want to build on consensus. So you have to build consensus to ensure that, okay, we are strong because we are together.
Okay, I hear you, but I also didn't hear you deny that you might want to take up that role one day.
You see, this is Breakfast Grille always want to put your words into my mouth. It's very dangerous.
You didn't say no though, that's clear. On that note, thank you for your time. Today in the Breakfast Grille was Kor Ming, Minister of Housing and Local Government. I'm Wong Xiaoning, BFM 89.9.